What's up, people of YouTube? I'm Karsatowski and welcome back to the Karsatowski YouTube channel. So it's been a while since I've reacted to any PBA bowling matches, so I'm going to return to an old classic back 13 years ago. Chris Barnes versus Brad Angelo. So let's get to it. So this is at the 2010 Marathon Open.
Take on PDW, Pete Weber.
And this is the quarterfinal match. I think... Did Brad Angelo have a title at this point? I skipped to this part of the video, so I didn't see his intro or anything like that.
He is a 12-time winner on the PBA Tour, including 2 majors. A member of Team USA, former PBA Rookie and Player of the Year from Double Oak, Texas. Please welcome Chris Barnes.
And now Chris Barnes is a 19-time PBA Tour titleist with 3 majors. And I actually did have the pleasure of bowling with him back in my very first Pro-Am.
Victories.
Two pretty good shots from both players to start off with.
Rob, he's had 8 consecutive seasons of winning at least 1 title, so
wow.
He still has.
So Chris Barnes won a title from 2002 until 2009 at this point. That's really interesting. I think he won his first title in 99, I think. I don't think he won a title his rookie season in 98, I don't think. And he was sponsored by Columbia 300 that time. Now he's sponsored by 900 Global, which is a company owned by Storm. 70th career TV Finals appearance, 4th appearance this season. Now I think he has like 88 on TV, but if you count extra frame appearances, he's got probably an additional 15 more. So he's been in a championship round appearances at least 100 times in his career. That shot just goes a little bit long and then it kind of just picks a line and just goes straight to it. I wonder what kind of ball that is. I'm probably not too familiar with it because I'm not too familiar with a lot of older equipment that is not Storm related.
Brad Angelo up, making his first TV appearance since November 30th.
And I also got to bowl with Brad Angelo too.
Where he finished
and he's been a long time Brunswick guy. I don't know too much about Brunswick either. Brad does bowl on the PBA 50 tour, and I think this is his second year, I think. And he does have a title, and he has a handful of runner-up finishes.
Before we came on the air, you know, as I said, I'm pretty much I'm probably 2 left of where I started, but my hand position has changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
I can't roll it to get it off my hand. I got to make sure I get it.
That's really interesting on how they talk to the players back then.
Thanks, Brad.
I don't remember the last time they've used it. The last time they might have used it could have been the 2012 season, because I don't remember it any time after that. To me, that would probably break my focus, especially if I'm on a double and I'm bowling my first match on TV. Well, I just got on TV and I bowled a double. I'm not too sure if I could pull off a shot like that. I'd probably have to have at least 10 appearances on television in order to do what Brad just did, of splitting the 5-7, by the way. And speaking of Brad, he's won 2 national titles, and I think he's won 2 regional titles, which is very interesting because he's had like 30 appearances on television, and he's been on tour for... I think he retired full-time from the national tour, I think, a couple years ago. But he's been on the regional tour for at least 20 years. And it's surprising to me that he doesn't at least have like 5 to 7 titles by now. And at least probably like 20 regional titles, considering how long that Brad Angelo has bowled professionally. And time will tell if he can win many more 50 tour titles.
to secure an exempt spot. He was outside the number, and Joe steps up and finishes 10th. So congratulations to Joe Ciccone.
You can see other finishers. I don't even think they put other finishers. There's a lot of things that the older telecasts on the PBA Tour did back then that they don't do much anymore now. Like, I love a lot of the changes that they've made now. I kind of wish that for big tournaments like the Tournament of Champions, the USBC Masters, or the US Open, they'd have a graphic that goes by of all the players who finished among the match play portions. I would really like that.
What are you seeing so far through 3 frames?
Well, compared to yesterday, they're a lot tighter down lane.
And they could probably bring this back too. Although a lot of the players today, I feel like that they lose focus way too easily, honestly. I'm not really one of those players who loses focus to a lot of white noise and crowd noise. Mostly what breaks my focus is peripheral vision. Like, that's what breaks my focus the most. If somebody goes on the approach and I'm in qualifying about even 2 pairs down from me sometimes, it can break my focus a little bit.
And Rob, you heard him say that the right lane is tricky. Well, Barnes was a higher seed, so he gets choice of starting lane and position.
And I kind of feel like some other players are like that too, although I don't know. I don't know if I'm alone on this or not, but that's just me. My peripheral vision is just one of the things that gets me the most.
Angelo looking to open up match number 2.
Look at Angelo's approach. It's very interesting.
Please tell me you didn't.
He didn't do it as, I didn't notice it as much there. That wasn't really good angle. We'll get another time. He looks like he missed it a little bit left and it creeped high.
Right-handers, and I know how disappointed you are that he didn't get this 4th strike.
Yeah,
it's going to be an issue with that right lane.
He got a little bit left, checked early, went high. I'd probably say he'd make at least a 2-in-1 move. He might even make a little bit of a higher move. I don't know how Brad usually does his adjustments, but I'd say he'd make at least some kind of 2-in-1 move left. And that was a really bad chop right there.
Well, every shot in bowling,
that is one of my least favorite things to do, is just chop something. Like chop a 6-10, and I actually just today chopped a very weird spare.
Let's see how Angelo responds to
it was the,
as we begin the
I think it was the
match number 2.
4-5, I believe it was. Or it could have been the 2-5, I can't remember. I actually kind of like that adjustment, but still came up a little high.
You know, I think Brad has a really good blueprint of what the lanes are doing.
Yeah, I agree.
He has a game under his belt. He's a lot
Yeah, he
more
beat
relaxed
Westmallot in the first match, and he knows how the lanes are transitioning.
Of what he needs to do. Now it's just a matter of execution.
Third time
It's also interesting in how he puts his hand on the ball for a spare. He puts it more or less on top of the ball, and I think that's a way for him to be able to throw it straight.
A versatile player is being a good spare shooter.
Because his hand naturally cups down after practicing his hook ball so much, so he just puts his hand on top of the ball so that his hand won't be able to manipulate the ball and make it go left.
Throw strikes out here, you better cover spares.
And here's Barnes on that right lane, which has been problematic for him so far. 9 spare, 6 spare.
There you go, that's a good shot. There you go, light mixer. That's a very good adjustment, I think. Go up it a little bit straighter, keep your ball speed a little bit more up, stay a little bit more aggressive. You just can't throw it too fast or get it too far to the right, or it'll blow past the spot and we'll never get to the head pin or the pocket.
Great bowling community here in Maryland.
Remember when Chris said that they're a little tighter down the lane for him? Watch how subtle this back-end reaction is for him on this shot.
Oh, that was a really good shot too. He kept that one fairly direct.
Shot there, only to leave a ring in 10, but you see how smooth that transitional.
That is actually a very common leave. kind of get the high hard one and to get a little bit more aggressive and to leave a lot of ring 10s. That actually happens a lot more than not, mostly because that ball isn't making that nice curve into the pocket. It's more or less going a little bit straighter, making a slight curve, and it's not really getting into the pocket at a great angle. I'm going to skip this part a little bit forward, by the way.
The winner to take on conclusion. He and I were exchanging texts. It was much fun on the PBA.
Okay, so Angelo is down 3 through 5.5 frames.
One of the greatest moments that I've ever been a part of, and you know, to happen to a guy like Brian Zizek, it's just such a nice guy. It was tremendous.
And another point, and you and I were talking about yesterday.
Yeah, Brian Zizek. I wonder where he's at right now. He won the Plastic Ball Championship against Jason Belmonte not too long before this event.
Handled it so well with,
and he did it in very spectacular fashion
Here's Angelo
to win his first and only title. That one, oh, here's where it starts. Celebrating after Brooklyn. And Chris Barnes isn't very happy. Usually when I throw Brooklyn strike, there's hardly any reaction to me. In fact, I'm like, what are you doing, Carson? Just get it to the right more. That's usually how I am. Or I'm like, oh, okay, I'll take it. I'm not bowling too good anyway, so I'll take anything. That's usually how I am when I throw Brooklyn strike. I don't ever do this.
He's got other issues on his mind right now, to be honest with you. And we'll talk about that in a second, what he was doing during the commercial break. Angelo looking for strike number 5.
He gets his hand around the side of the ball.
And gets it.
I don't know if you can see it, but it's like over to here. His elbow isn't quite out, but his hand is about right at the side of the ball, and it just flicks.
Boy, and that's about as close as you can get without having the red light go on. So what does he do?
Oh yeah, he changes heel.
This is the first shot.
I've never had a bowling shoe that has
a brand new combination.
A removable heel before. I think I will eventually need to get one. I mean, I've got adjustable soles, but I don't have adjustable heels.
I can't remember. I've seen, obviously, the players take the shoe brush there and kind of rough.
I do, yeah, I do that quite a bit too. Because sometimes when I fall off balance, it usually means that I'm either sticking to the line too much or that I'm sliding too much. So I'll use my brush and I will brush it in a certain way depending on how, depending on if I stuck or slid too much or whatever it may be. But I've never tried the heel thing before.
Video of you making the shoe adjustment. What was the problem?
The approaches are just slicker today. It's about 15 degrees hotter, maybe 20 degrees hotter on the set, and the approaches have a little bit of humidity in the air is not there now, and so I just need a heel that stopped a little quicker.
And how did it work out for you? I know you got a strike, but I mean, did it feel good for you?
Yeah, so far so good. I didn't go Brooklyn. I guess it was all right.
That's where it starts.
Bring up the Brooklyn.
Okay. Without that commentary, I don't think Chris Barnes would have brought that up, and I don't think that we would be talking about this by now. So that little earpiece in there can definitely start a few things. I think they should bring it back.
For a pair.
That was a good move. High hard one, gets it light swisher yet again.
Just say this. You know, Randy Angelo's not afraid to get in there and mix it up with you.
Yeah, Randy's calling it.
But I told you, Chris Barnes, don't throw Brooklyn. Listen, you throw Brooklyn at Chris Barnes.
I don't know if I would ever have the chance to bowl against Brad Angelo, mostly because he doesn't bowl on tour anymore, and he's a lot older than I am. If you're watching this, Brad, no hard feelings, but nothing against you. But I think that I would probably do stuff like that on purpose, just see what his reaction would be. I think it'd be pretty funny. So I'd probably just make eye contact with him back.
PBA protocol, my friend.
All right. You know me, I'm all about taunting.
Now, just so you know, Brad didn't mean anything by it. He wasn't trying to rub it in his face. It was none of that.
I think this starts about here. Perfect shot.
3 strikes in a row for Angelo. That wasn't a Brooklyn shot.
Playing some head games here.
Did I not just say that Brad's not afraid to mix it up?
The Italian coming out in Angelo. I like it. A little Italian stallion.
We got us a little game now.
Yeah. And it's not just a game on the lanes. It's a game between the ears as well.
I think the words were, that one ain't Brooklyn.
I've noticed Brad has that little thing right here. I've got it too, just not as much, but I think he's had that look up until like 3 or 4 years ago. That one went super light. Dadgum, so many light mixers. Dadgum. I don't think I've seen that many light mixers in a PBA telecast in a long time.
And now he's giving it right back. You know, good for him. Now, Brad Angelo can strike out and shoot 256. The best Chris Barnes can do if he strikes out, 249.
Let's see what Barnes has in store here, bottom of the 9th.
Okay. Another light mixer chasing that 4-pin out.
No words exchanged.
There we go. Now Chris Barnes needs to get all 3 in the 10th frame to force Brad Angelo to get 2 strikes
He's just going to get up now and try to stuff 3 in the 10th
and
try to
4.
That. No Brooklyns, that doesn't count. He'll say something to try to get into Brad's dome. Also, he needs to keep the pressure on.
I have not seen this match in a long time. I've seen clips of it, but I don't think I've seen this match maybe like 5 years ago, a little bit longer than that. I may not have even seen this match since I was in high school. There you go. Oh man, okay. That's when you get a little bit fast. It goes past the break point and it just leaves something like that.
Just never recovered down the lane.
That's the one thing you got to watch about throwing the high hard one. Like, you've got to be very accurate when you're doing that, because if you throw it too hard, the ball can just blow right past that break point and just never sees friction, and you won't ever get it to the pocket.
And Brad will move on to take on PDW, Pete Weber.
Yeah, now Brad Angelo really just needs the first strike.
It's not often you see some.
Actually, I don't even think he needs that. I think he just needs
television in the PBA.
fill.
It happens maybe a little bit more muted.
I think he just needs a
This one was
spare.
pretty well out and in the open. And you know,
Yeah,
Weber,
because
who's
Chris would have had to
coming up
strike
next,
out
can
to
play
force
that game as
Angelo
well.
to get 2.
Without question.
Let's see what he does here. Okay, that was very similar to the last shot. So what he probably should have done in his first shot is he should have moved probably a step to the right and had about that same ball speed. The only problem is it could have hooked way early on him and that ball could have went Brooklyn. But I think that would have been a slightly better adjustment than what he actually did.
In this environment, there is no friendship.
But then again, that's why he's bowling over there, and that's why I'm watching right now, so it's just me observing.
And then when it's all said and done, we can go back to being friends again.
Well, maybe. I mean, I think they still have a rivalry somewhat to this day.
Frames. Trying to drop a nickel here in the 10th.
There we go. Perfect. It kind of rolls, hooks, finds that spot, finishes right into the pocket.
Kind of ticked off now.
Everybody's angry. Yeah, it's Easter Sunday. Come on, people, let's get along.
Wait, they've got a telecast going on Easter Sunday? I wonder if this is live or is this taped? Like, do they really bowl an event on Easter Sunday? I guess that has happened before. I don't remember any PBA event going to Easter Sunday. I always thought that they would like skip a week, or a lot of the consistent back-to-back events would already be over, and then they'd like break it up like once April would hit. Like back then though, they had like several months where they would have consecutive events, so I guess they did have one Easter Sunday.
Last show usually.
And there's Pete Weber.
By the way,
retired from the tour 2 years ago. May he continue to bowl on the 50 tour.
Away from Angelo right now.
Well, he won't be bowling on there for long because he's like, what, 62 now?
Concludes with 7.
Dadgum. Brad bowled a really great game. And Chris bowled a really good game too, with the exception of the 10th frame. I mean, with the exception of the 10th frame, Chris, I mean, he bowled just as solid as Brad Angelo did.
We saw PDW on TV. He was busy.
Alright, so that is the 2010 Marathon Open, Chris Barnes versus Brad Angelo, arguably their most popular interaction with each other. I don't know if they're friends or rivals to this day, but very interesting to see a match from 13 years ago. Well, if you guys enjoy this type of content and me looking at old PBA telecasts or current PBA telecasts, be sure to give this video a like and also share it with a friend who you think might like this video also. Also, if for some reason you're not subscribed to this YouTube channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below so you'll never miss any of my videos. I'm Karsatowski, keep watching my content, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya!